Hello, friends, and welcome back to 20 Questions With. For those of you who are new here, this is my fun way of introducing you to other costumers and costubers by asking them 20 silly questions. Today, we're talking to Vivien of FreshFrippery. Welcome to my channel.
Hello.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and your Instagram and all that kind of stuff?
So my name's Vivien, and most of you probably know me by my Instagram, FreshFrippery. I also have a blog, freshfrippery.com. And those are the main two platforms I use. I also have a TikTok, but really I make videos there so I can put them in Instagram for you. So yeah, costuming is my hobby. It's not my full-time living. I've had some people think that I do costuming, as a living, but I don't. It's totally just for fun.
Are you ready to play 20 questions?
Yes.
All right. What is the weirdest thing you've ever had to do for a job?
So I work in a crime lab. So by its nature, I would say like a lot of the stuff I do is already kind of weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of people that are told, hey, here's some dirty underwear, try to figure out some stuff. But if you're talking about like costume related weirdest thing I've had to do for a job.
No. Oh, you have costume related things having to do with your job?
Well, okay, it's not with my current job, but actually years ago, before my current job, I did a temp job where I was working for this designer that had been contracted to make a whole bunch of acrobat costumes for this show for Vegas.
Wow.
And one of the costumes, or actually there are several costumes that with this design, it was made to look like a business suit kind of. It was like spandex, but it had been airbrushed to look like striped suit. But to make it show up like during the performance, they decided all the stripes were going to be wired with L wire and light up.
Yeah.
So my job was to take these spandex airbrushed businessman acrobat suits and run L wire for them and like sew them down.
Okay, that's crazy.
I think that's the weirdest like job I've probably had.
Do you know what show was that?
I got very limited information about it because like I wasn't on site in Vegas. Like I was about locally here in California, and then the designer was shipping the stuff over to Vegas and then also flying over there to later on closer to the show do a final fitting. What I gathered was it wasn't like, say, like a Vegas show that people could buy tickets to. Some tech company with like deep pockets was doing some big conference and decided to put on this show for the conference attendees.
Wow.
So
that's I thought, crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was like obviously like boom times, right? So I was thinking, wow, I cannot believe that they had such a budget that they weren't even just hiring like people from an existing Vegas show. They're like, we're going to have a show just for us. And we're going to even have the budget to hire a designer to make costumes specifically for that.
Wow.
Enough budget for him to have help. Because I was not the only person. I was actually hired on because his other assistants couldn't handle all this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh. That's cool. I mean, what an experience.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. If you were a candy bar, what candy bar would you be and why?
See, I don't want to get eaten.
So okay, just assume that you're a decorative candy bar that like is the display copy.
Like the fake food they have in front of sushi restaurants.
Yeah. Yeah, like that.
I guess it would be something with nuts.
Okay.
Something slightly nutty.
So like Almond Joy.
Is that the one with coconut in it?
Yeah.
I don't like coconut.
Okay. Payday. Payday is super nutty.
I don't like Payday either.
Do you have to like it for it to represent you as a person?
I guess not. Oh, you know what I do like is the Cease candy that's like toffee that's coated with chocolate with like little crushed almonds all over it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Almond roca. Actually, no, that's almond roca, right? Yeah, I like that.
I have a very funny honor. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. Okay. When you go 7 cats, right?
Yeah, 7.
We call box scooping time Kitty Roca.
I'm going to have that image in my head the next time.
No, so is everybody else. No, and I'm really sorry.
No, that's fine. I have a very strong stomach.
Crime scene lab guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And it's not just even because of my current job. It's been like this my whole life. Like, I am that weirdo at medical appointments that's like, can I watch what you're doing to me?
Oh, wow. Okay. I do not have a strong stomach. I mean, I guess it depends on what it is, but like for that one I do, because I sit there eating on the roca and I'm like, roca, and Chris is like, gross. Basically, if I can make it funny, my stomach becomes stronger.
Okay, that's good.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, so I only had a few things like that I really did strongly or was seriously interested in. I thought, okay, I'm either going to go into science, which I did end up going into, or my other plan was at some point I was going like, wouldn't it be fun to like be an animator for Pixar?
Oh my God, that would be super fun. Yeah.
So in high school, I was going like, I will either be an animator for Pixar or I will do science.
Right. Those are disparate choices.
Yeah. And then I later realized, I'm not actually that good at drawing. I just love the movies. So.
Right. I think that's most people's experience with it.
Yeah.
What do you wish someone taught you a long time ago?
I think maybe I wish someone told me when I was a kid that like, if you're weird or nerdy as a kid, you're actually going to be a much more interesting and cool adult.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I wish that too. That is a really good answer.
So, okay, kids, telling you right now.
Yeah.
Nerdy, lean into it.
Lean in hard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wish someone told me that grades don't actually matter. I mean, they do from high school to college, but like once you're in college, if you are not planning to get a master's or a PhD, they don't really matter. It matters that you graduate and that you pass your classes, but like, yeah, you don't really need to like get straight A's. I mean, I graduated summa cum laude and in a school that didn't have grades. We had written reports.
Yeah.
And I wish someone had told me that no one will ever ask you what your grades in college were, or if you were summa cum laude or any of that. No one ever has asked me that. And I spent so much time stressing out about that and like making sure that I always did every piece of extra credit and spent all my time studying and all, like.
I think it depends on your job.
It does depend on your job.
Yeah, because like when people interview for positions where I am, like we ask for all the transcripts, we go over it, but mainly we're curious about like their science classes. I don't care about like C and history.
Yeah, I would say if you're a science or like even maybe computer engineering, that might matter. But like, I'm a politics major and I'm a web producer. No one has ever asked me that.
Yeah.
Also, your degree does not always have to match what you're going to do in your life. And people change jobs on average, like not even just jobs, but career paths 7 times in their life. Statistically.
Yeah. There's definitely people at my work that, yes, there's people that like started there straight out of college, pretty much. And then there's also people who are like, hi, I'm in my 40s and this is my second career, career or whatever.
Yeah. So I wish people had like said more about that because I would have, had more fun and like not gotten literally an ulcer over it. So yeah, that would have been better. If you could choose your dreams, what would you prefer to dream about?
I actually have a lot of dreams about food. Like
that's awesome.
Going to restaurants and like looking at menus, but the problem is a lot of my dreams end before I actually get my order. So I think maybe like I wouldn't necessarily, I mean, I sometimes do get the food. It's not like a constant thing, but I mean, there are definitely dreams like I wake up and I'm like, I ate my order or I got my entree, but not my dessert. So I don't think I would necessarily change my dreams, but I would like them to finish because I feel like sometimes that's kind of frustrating.
You want to wake up during the like after dinner coffee chat.
Yeah. Or like I'll have dreams where like I'm cooking the thing, but then I don't get to eat it at the end because I already woke up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, your subconscious is like, you're not quite getting there. Either that or you have a very ill-timed alarm schedule going on.
Yeah, actually, I don't use an alarm. I just kind of wake up naturally in the morning.
Really?
So,
wow. I mean, I do that now because I'm off and I can, but like when I have to go to work, man, that alarm and I have a bonding session of my finger, like I fall back asleep with my finger on the snooze button so that I can hit it again.
I think part of it's just like habit or forced training, because like in college, a bunch of my science classes were early in the morning. And then I had to like wake up early enough to like eat breakfast and get ready and stuff like that. Actually, no, I think this even dates back to high school, because in high school, I, did like speech and debate. And so my practice time was like waking up and ask crack of dawn, doing my practice then, and then going to school. And then in college, this was just reinforced by classes. And now I'm a mom. So I have this little man that comes out of his room early in the morning.
It's like, feed me.
Clean underwear. So now, like, yeah, I don't even need an alarm clock. It's like my body goes, get up.
Oh, that's interesting. My body does that at like 3 p.m.
Yeah, everyone has a cycle. There's nothing wrong
about
any of these.
Yeah. Would you ever try space tourism if you had the money for it?
I think I would like to see the moon, but I'm kind of worried about going anywhere further.
Okay.
So the thing is, I actually really don't like the act of traveling.
Yeah,
I like the destination, but like, it's not that I'm like afraid of planes or anything like that. I just I find it a hassle to be in
a hassle.
Yeah, I don't like being in a car for a long period of time. I don't like to be in a plane for a long period of time. I don't like to be enclosed anywhere for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So I think like with space travel, they're like, well, you can see Mars, but you got to sit in the tin can for 2 months with a whole bunch of strangers. I would be like, nope, thank you.
Yeah. The moon is like 3 days though. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do a couple days. Sure. For the moon.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. I don't like, I like being at the place. I don't mind a car, but planes bother me a lot. And I'm not afraid of them. It's more that I get really angry inside them. I think it's a control freak thing. Like, I think I would feel better if I was the one flying. But if you land a plane and don't immediately taxi to the gate, like I've sat on the tarmac for hours before I got pulled up to the gate to get out of the plane. And I literally tore that table thing off of the hinges without even realizing it, because I was clenching it so hard, because I was so just like, like I would rip my way out of that can.
I don't think I've ever been super angry on a plane, but I have been annoyed when we're boarding and we can't take off because no one can follow the instructions to like put their small items, like their laptop bags, under their seat.
It's like, it's the first time flying every time.
Yeah, well, I remember there was the last flight I took, probably in the before times. I saw people like shoving coats and purses into the bins, and then there were people who boarded last who could not put their suitcases away. So I don't remember how many announcements the flight attendants had to make saying, please take your stuff down and put it under your seats so we can actually take off, so that people can put their suitcases away. And we took off late because of that. And also there was one weird thing. Someone brought their cat on board. In luggage, and they said, okay, the person sitting next to the person with the cat is allergic, and we need a volunteer to swap seats with them. So then we were sitting around waiting for that. But I also was thinking, like, if the person's super allergic, like all the air circulated, like,
yeah,
they're not next to the cat.
Well, the HEPA filters in planes are actually really, 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 really good, actually. Okay. And the air inside of the planes is completely circulated out every few minutes. I worked for Virgin America before they launched and when they first launched. So I have lots of plane stories. And I know how duct taped together a plane can be and still be allowed to fly according to regulation.
I've heard something like that. But that's good to know that if someone's allergic to something, that on the plane, like it'll get filtered out.
They will even catch things as small as COVID.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than you're sitting right next to people and like you very much, there's not enough time to avoid getting their air if you were far enough apart, a plane would actually be one of the safest places to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's at least interesting. They're really sensitive about like peanut allergies and stuff because that amount of time is enough to make the person freak out. But yeah, the whole cat thing. I brought my cat Keanu home on a plane, but we were in first class and we had like the entire first row blocked out because it was me and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, this is okay. And also he was a kitten, and usually kittens aren't nearly the allergen problem that adult cats are. So I didn't feel super horrible about it. But yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. What skill or talent would you most like to learn?
Probably languages. Like it'd be cool if like I could speak a bunch of languages. Like, I mean, English is actually my second language. My native tongue is Cantonese. And then I took French in high school, but I barely remember any of it. So, and then like I had some Mandarin lessons, but it didn't really stick super well. So I'm not like one of those people that like picks up a language super easily.
Yeah.
So it would be cool if I could do that.
Yeah, I think that would be an awesome skill. Like if I could Matrix style learn something, I would jack in I would just be like all languages. Thank you. There used to be a question that I would ask on this, which was like, would you rather know all languages or be able to speak to all animals?
Yeah, languages.
Yeah, I think so. I think that like speaking to animals would be awesome, but also I don't learn languages easily either. And that's so useful.
Yeah. Well, also it makes it easy for you to find a job.
Yeah.
Like some places will hire you just because you know languages.
Yeah, for sure.
My mom knew someone who like she barely had any education, but because she spoke 2 specific languages that this company was looking for.
Oh.
And the company had a lot of clients from a particular country. They needed someone on staff speak that particular language. So she was there basically just to be on call in case these like important clients showed up, and she had all this free time.
Wow, that's a great job.
Yeah.
Wow, I would like to do that job.
Also if you speak a lot of languages, I guess you could get hired by the CIA.
Yeah, or the UN, or something like that. Like anyone who needs a translator basically would be pumped, especially if you could speak them perfectly. I wonder if does that necessitate that you can also read that language?
I mean, if we can amend our answer to read and speak, that's preferable, but still like being able to speak it is still very useful. Like you could travel anywhere and talk to any native person, or you could like be somewhere and then someone could be having a conversation and not assume that you would understand. Be like, actually.
Yeah. I can understand a lot more Spanish than I can speak, and I hear a surprising amount of things in my day. I would love to be able to speak all languages. That would be fantastic. Like that would make traveling so much easier. You get like so many perks too, because like people be like, oh, you speak the language. You bothered. Yeah. Yes. What is something you thought would be easy until you tried it?
Well, I'm a pretty clumsy person, so maybe most physical activities. Like, dang, I suck at archery.
Someone just sent me an all caps answer to this question, which was breastfeeding. And I think from my experience with most of my friends who had kids, that is harder than most people assume it's going to be.
Yeah, I think so, but I didn't assume it was going to be easy.
Oh, that's good. Because it's not.
Because like my mom, told me about her experience, and I was like, okay. Gotta keep that in mind. Like
I think most people assume you get the baby and then you just park it there and everything sort of works, but that's not what happens.
Yeah, that's true. Although I lucked out. I actually had a pretty easy baby.
Oh, that's great.
According to like parents, because other people would like ask me, well, what do you do for your kid for this? And I'd be like, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, that's it. Like I had people ask me like when he was an infant, how did you get him to sleep at night? Like, what was your bedtime routine? I was like, I turn off the lights and put him in the crib.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's it. I'm like, well, I mean, obviously I make sure he's fed and his diaper is clean. Yeah. They're like, well, you have to sing to him and stuff. I'm like, no.
Yeah. I think some people just have really easy kids and some people don't. So here's the opposite question. What was something you thought would be hard until you tried it?
See, I'm a little reluctant to answer the question because I also don't want anyone to feel bad if they're like, gosh, that was easy for you and I tried it.
Oh, yeah.
Really hard.
I think things are different for everybody though. Like I think things that are super hard, like lots of other people are like, it's not that hard, Noelle. And I'm like, no, but it is because I'm not good at this.
I don't know. I would say like some things aren't as scary as most people think they are. You know, like I get messages all the time from people who are like, I'm really nervous about starting a costume and really do it. Just do it.
Yep.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's really just fine.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah. It's not nearly as hard as you think it is. It's not as intimidating as you think it is. Especially if you just like break that thing down. Break it down into its smallest pieces and just do those pieces.
Yeah, definitely incrementally, everything is less intimidating. Like, I think some people get scared because they look at some elaborate costume and they're like, how am I supposed to do that? It's like, okay, well,
don't start with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even if you do tackle that, don't look at it as a huge gown.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, there's a skirt.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Add stuff to it. There's a bodice and you put a bunch of sparklies on it so it ends up looking fancy.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a whole bunch of trim on it. Actually, that's a bonus because then you can cover up all the wonky stuff.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's what I mean. Like, don't start with it as that in your head. Start with it as first I need to cut out the fabric. Right? Like just do that first step. That's all you need. That's all you need to do is focus on that one thing that's the next thing. And it's not that hard. What luxury is totally worth the price?
I'd say good shoes because you spend a lot of time on your feet.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be like a brand name fancy designer shoe. It's like whatever works for your foot shape. Like I would totally recommend people find whatever works for them. Like some people have narrow feet, some people have high arches. You know, like also something that sounds like it might be comfortable to someone might not necessarily be suited for you. So like for me, I have high arches and like long toes. So actually a flat shoe with a rounded front actually is very uncomfortable for me. I have something with a heel. I prefer something with this slight point because otherwise all my feet are going to like slide into a blunted toe and just like,
oh, that's interesting.
So actually like, yeah, my podiatrist years ago was like, you actually have feet that are made for heels and boots.
Right. Not Mary Jane's.
Yeah. And so that finally made sense to me. I'm like, all right, everyone is saying like, no, you should totally wear Mary Jane's flats. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm not comfortable in them.
This luxury right here is totally worth the price. Those are my new custom shoes.
Yes. Looking forward to that unboxing.
Yeah, it's good.
You probably wake up and just go and pet your shoes.
I have taken them out of the box at least 3 times in the last 12 hours and just like been like, and then put them back in the box because the box, it's a process, man. Because in the box, there's first of all, the box ties, and then there's a bag in the box, and the bag is luxurious also. And then inside each shoe is delicately wrapped in tissue paper. So I've like undone that, presented myself with the shoe, petted it, put it back all in.
Put it on your altar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. If you were a potato, what way would you like to be cooked?
I guess this is similar to the candy question because I don't want to be eaten.
Sure. But you're a potato, so maybe in your potato form, you're like, all I want in the world is to be eaten.
Or actually, maybe in my potato form, I want to be that forgotten potato in the back of the bin that has now sprouted. And people are like, well, now I need to chop it up and plant it, and it will grow into multiple potatoes.
Okay, that's possible also. Is that your answer?
Yes. I would like to become Legion of potatoes.
Okay. What way would they want to be cooked?
I guess it's easy to forget about one potato, but not like a whole crop.
Maybe, like I said, maybe most potatoes actually like it's their, you know how like our life objective, our imperative is to breed. Maybe theirs is to be eaten.
Okay. Maybe they'll be like, I want to be a bunch of tater tots because I'm still in a vaguely tiny potato form. And again, lots of me.
Yeah. And tater tots are a superior form of cooked potato. I will give them that.
They're portable.
They're portable. They're delicious. They're fried and baked. Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
And they freeze well.
And they freeze well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're dippable.
Yes.
I like dippable food.
And also, if you put them at a party, everyone gets excited.
Yeah. And they're really good in breakfast burritos. Just saying.
And I have not tried this yet, but I've heard you can like smash them in a waffle iron.
You are like princess of the waffle iron. Okay, tell them about the waffle iron thing you sent me the other day.
Okay, so I saw this video where someone put puff pastry, like the frozen sheets of puff pastry, in a waffle iron and filled it with berries, and then like put another layer of puff pastry on top and then closed it. But they did this in like a mini waffle iron, so I don't know how well it works in a big iron, if like it will cook evenly. But I was like, I didn't even know that they made mini waffle irons, and now I want one.
And we discovered, okay, well, by we, I mean Vivien, discovered that they have waffle bowl waffle irons.
Yeah. I think are improved once they're in waffle form.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Also, you can take like white bread and put it in your waffle iron and make white bread waffle peanut butter and jelly sandwiches where the peanut butter and jelly gets really thick and deep in the little waffle cup. It's good. What animal would you choose to be?
Probably something that could fly.
Like a pterodactyl or like a bird or...
I think a pterodactyl would be really cool, but at this point, like anyone seeing a pterodactyl would be like, I gotta like catch the thing and put it in a cage.
Yeah, okay.
So I think I'd actually like to be a bird that no one would notice. Like if you were a peacock, people would be like, you know. I would want to be like some like little brown sparrow that nobody knows exists. So like people can leave me alone and I can fly and go do my birdie things.
What are those birds? There's birds that can fly from one Arctic pole to the other one. Like they're the only ones that can do that long of a trip. I think I would want to be one of those because they can fly the longest distance.
I'm not sure. But yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds vaguely familiar.
I learned about them when I went to I went to Antarctica at one point and they were flying next to the boat the whole time. They were like tracking the boat and they would stop and sit on our boat to like rest and then get up and fly again, which is pretty cool.
Arctic terns?
It might be an Arctic tern.
Oh.
It might be. I'll have to go look it up.
We'll have to Google later.
Yeah, if I figure it out, I'll put it up here for you all so that you all know and don't sit there wondering for the rest of your life what the heck Noelle's talking about.
Yeah, like I could have totally just made up this fake bird right now.
Yeah. I think if I was going to be a pterodactyl, though, I would want to be like the Scooby-Doo one that's like massive and like is a terrorizing pterodactyl that like has a secret cave lair in a secret mountain volcano that isn't somehow a giant lava pit. I think that would be fun. Your reaction.
I think that's intriguing and it's valid in its own way. But I think also like as a little bird, I would still like to be able to like fly to a cafe and eat someone's donut, you know? So I want to be able to stay around humanity. So it would have to be like a smaller bird.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's totally fair. Have you ever had an imaginary friend?
So if you're talking about like little kids going, please don't sit on my friend Sally.
Yeah.
No. Like wasn't necessary. Like, so I have a sister. And then also I lived like literally a block from my elementary school. And my mom had this arrangement with the other kids' moms that she would just watch them after school until they got off work. So I would come home with like half a dozen kids every day. So I didn't need to make up someone on top of that.
Okay. There seems like there's a but to this because you started with, if you're talking about X.
Oh yeah. Well, if you're talking about imaginary friends, like the stereotypical like children's, you know, yeah, no, I didn't make one up. If you're talking about like, not like a fully fleshed out person with a personality, but like later on, you know, maybe in like middle school or high school being like, here's someone like that I can like talk out thoughts to, you know, while I'm like practicing something or like working through something. Kind of maybe like, I don't know if you would consider that an imaginary friend. Like there's someone listening, but it's not like I'm like, yo, this is so-and-so, and they're like, this is their age, and they like to wear a 3-piece suit and take walks on the beach. And I demand a second breakfast helping for this individual.
Okay, so the things I have just made several assumptions. One, you are a person who practices arguments.
Well, yeah, because like I told you, I would wake up at the ass crack of dawn to practice my speech and debate stuff.
Okay. And then 2, there's some chance that you still have an imaginary friend. I totally admit that I still have an imaginary friend.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a person. It's more like sit there and go like, well, because I'll math things out, especially when I'm sewing. Because like we talked about incrementals, like I will look at something and go, that's not scary. It's a bunch of triangles and rectangles.
Right.
And like sometimes my husband will catch me staring off into space and he's like, what are you thinking about? Like thinking probably I've got some kind of weird grudge or like deep thoughts. I'm like, no, I'm just kind of doing calculations in my head and maybe whispering to myself about that. So maybe in that sense, you could say I'm talking to somebody.
Does the somebody answer back?
No.
Okay. My somebody answers back.
I don't have that.
Because they're like, no, that's wrong. And here's why. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, good point. And then I'll keep going.
Yeah, I don't think I really have that.
All right. I'm a little slightly higher on the Noelle's messed up scale.
Well, I think also like just because if I really, really need feedback on something, I'm not afraid to go find someone and say, yeah, this might be stupid, but what do you think?
Yeah, it's usually just 4 a.m. for me. So there's nobody that's awake. So okay. I have to talk to myself.
Yeah. That's the difference. Like I'm awake during daylight business hours. I can grab somebody.
Yeah. What is your favorite smell and why?
I don't think I can pick one. Like definitely they're all like food related smells. Like I really like citrus smells, mainly citrus smells. I like certain bread smells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like waffle bread smell?
No, like bread coming out of the oven.
Yeah.
Kind of smells. That's good.
I like waffle smell. I like bacon. That smell. That's the smell that like does it for me every time. I'm like, okay, I wasn't hungry, but now I am. What's going on with the bacon?
Yeah.
Sorry, vegetarians. You're missing out. I have like one of my very best friends is Muslim, so obviously she doesn't eat pork. And like I don't challenge her on her religion in any way, except like I'm like, wow, you've never tried bacon. So I'm like constantly on the lookout for like the closest bacon to bacon that I can get for her that isn't like pork, but tastes like bacon, but is also halal.
Yeah.
That's rough. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like so many people, like they hear bacon and they just like spring to life.
I do.
There was one time at work. So my workplace is big enough that we have like an overhead intercom for, announcements and stuff. And one time for fun, like I brought a whole bunch of bacon to work.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that sounds like fun to me.
And well, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be good or gross, but I had found like canned bacon, like this bacon, like it was a can that just packed of bacon. And so brought it to work and then, opened it because I'm not going to eat this can of bacon by myself. Right. And made an announcement over the intercom saying, there is now bacon in the canteen. And all of a sudden, like people just showed up. And there was one guy who like, because suddenly his face just appeared at the window. Like,
was it good or was it gross?
Well, it was cold.
Yeah.
So it was weird that way.
Was it wet?
Yeah, it was wet. It was cold. Like, I wasn't super into it because I like crispy bacon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people were basically like, okay, I mean, that's better than I expected for something coming out of a can.
I would have put it on a griddle and at least gotten it like dry.
Yeah, I mean, this was work, so it didn't have like a griddle, but I can see like I probably would be willing to take it on a camping trip if there was like a griddle.
Yeah. We had my team was very like multicultural at my job. So we would have days where like every Friday, someone would bring a whole bunch of food from whatever their culture was, right? And so we had those like long pancake griddles that are like plug-in. And we would set up like entire buffet things that would come in. And the best part about that is we had 4 people and they were all from different parts of India. So we got to try all different kinds of Indian food. Oh man, that was so good.
Yeah. I think one thing I kind of miss about pre-pandemic times is Indian buffets.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. Mm-hmm.
Because I'll still get Indian food delivered, but like a buffet is a slightly different experience.
It really is. And like everything's still like crispy and that's the one thing about delivery is like some things are better there and fresh. And
Yeah.
like especially anything fried, that's not good delivered. Like it doesn't work. Yeah.
I've tried to get like tempura delivered and it's like
it's okay.
Great.
It's not great.
You just sit there and say, "Well, I don't need tempura sauce. I just have my tears."
What is that place? The place with the soupy dumplings that like everybody went nuts for.
Soupy dumplings?
The soupy dumplings? Yeah.
Din
Tai Fung. Yeah. So we even have gotten as desperate as to go to Din Tai Fung, like order it, and then as soon as it's ready, go grab it and then sit in our car and eat it because it is only good right then, and it's still not as good.
So I'll tell you, Trader Joe's has soup dumplings, like and they're actually pretty good for frozen soup dumplings.
Okay. I have a weird relationship with Trader Joe's. I got food poisoning really, really bad when I was in my 20s from Trader Joe's, and I have not set foot in a Trader Joe's except to get Lacey's ever since. Do you know what Lacey's are?
The little cookie things?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So, and it's a crime because Trader Joe food is so good. And my stomach just goes like every time I'm in there. But like, I kind of feel like it might be time to wean myself back onto it.
Do you think you would have the same reaction if someone else went and did the purchasing for you and then presented the food to you?
Maybe if it didn't have like a Trader Joe's label on it.
Yeah, like they unpackaged everything, fed it to you, and you were like, this is good. And then they were like, surprise.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's all psychological for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now your husband has a mission.
When I'm not expecting it, don't pick up taquitos because I know where those come from.
Yeah, don't get the soup dumplings because now you know to expect them.
Yeah.
Anything that's like super obvious.
Yeah. There's this place called Cali Dumpling that delivers frozen soup dumplings now too. And it's not bad. It's like 50 soup dumplings or like $18 or something. And they bring them to your house. And those are actually awesome also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a chain or is it like a local?
I think it's like a chain that originated maybe in LA. So it's like a California only. It's like a really small chain, but I think they're just doing delivery stuff. Like I've never seen a storefront for them.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and they, for a really long time during the pandemic, they didn't deliver to Northern California. They were only serving LA. And so they just started delivering up here again. And I'm like, oh, it's time. Yeah. So, yeah.
Because I do love my food delivery.
Yeah. Yeah. When I found out that Porto's delivered, I was like, yes. And I've been eating Porto's ever since. The problem with Porto's though, it takes up my like entire freezer because I'm like, yeah, I want to order the maximum amount of things I'm allowed to order from them. And then that is the exact space that is in my freezer.
Yeah, well, because like if you're going to pay for the shipping of like the dry ice container, you might as well pack it full.
Yeah, 100%. And also Porto's is great and it keeps it's in the freezer. So it lasts a really long time.
Yeah. And when you go, I don't feel like cooking tonight, you're like, hey, let's pull out a box.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to defrost it in advance.
Right. Well, the chocolate twists you do.
Okay. I haven't tried their desserts. I've only been buying savory stuff.
Oh my God. You go get, so they have like what are they? Passion fruit
Guava?
Guava. Yes. The guava thing.
See, I'm allergic to guava. Like everyone's like super excited about it, but I don't eat guava.
Okay, never mind.
So I've never tried any of their desserts. I've only bought like potato balls and the empanadas and
meat
like
pie. Yeah, the chicken croquettes are choice. They are very much like a chicken pot pie that has been breaded and put in your oven.
Oh, okay. That was intriguing because I've been getting emails for it, but I've never tried them. So
they're good.
You're saying you approve. I will, once I've cleared out the current Portos in my freezer,
yeah,
my next shipment.
Okay, great. Let me know what you think. People are like, Noelle, why are all these 20 questions you just talking about food?
Because everyone eats.
Yeah.
Not everyone sews, but everyone eats.
Everyone eats. What book or movie do you wish you could experience for the first time again?
You mean like as if I've never seen it and
yeah, like, have the experience that you had the first time you watched it.
Maybe like Lord of the Rings would be cool, like to see all the movies again for the first time, because I saw them years and years ago.
Literally 20 years ago at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool because also, or no, actually, Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because like that came out when I was a kid, and I feel like actually the special effects were so far beyond, like they even hold up now.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but as a kid, it was like totally mind blowing. Like, wow, how did they make those dinosaurs look so real?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a sucker for Spielberg anyway, but like, man,
invented technology just to make that movie.
Yeah. That movie's great. Actually, all of them are great. Like, I even like all the new ones, like whatever. Like, if you can have dinosaurs fighting, I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
I actually have not seen the newest ones.
Oh, you should watch them. They're good. They're actually really, I think you'd like them. Jurassic Park, like 3 or 4 from the original series, the one where they like trash San Diego, that got kind of like weird. But
yeah, because I stopped watching because
the new ones are good. I do actually recommend them.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can handle Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt, they're good.
That's possibly partly why I have not them.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like he's fun as Star-Lord, but I can't see me wanting to see that particular character and persona in a bunch of other stuff.
Try Jurassic Park. I think you'll like it. Like especially if you really like Jurassic Park, do it.
Who doesn't love Jurassic Park? Like I would be absolutely suspicious if anyone doesn't.
100%. I agree with you.
I mean, that should be a question you ask when you meet someone.
Do you like Jurassic Park?
Yeah, and if they say no, then you're like, okay, you are obviously a reptile person in a human skin. You have strong feelings against this movie.
Yeah.
And it's slander of your folk.
I was in this road trip with my then boyfriend and now husband, totally different guys. And the 3 of us took a road trip together. And we went through Utah, and we're driving along on this highway for like, I mean, this trip was like a week and a half long. It was crazy. We were like looking at red rocks forever. We went to Zion, we went to Arches, we went to Canyonlands. Like we were all over the place. And we're silently carrying down the road. We, I think, didn't have the radio on for like this particular 5 minutes of the journey. For some reason, we were all just wanting some quiet for a minute. And we passed this sign and it just says dinosaur footprints ahead. And everybody sits there completely silent for the next like 2 minutes. Like we could hear each other thinking really loudly. And finally I go, so we're going to do that, right? And they were both like, oh yeah, we got to stop and do that. That's for sure. So like literally anytime there's a dinosaur thing, I'm like, well, whatever plans we have are now that.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Jurassic Park is such a formative part of many of our childhoods. That even now, like people will cosplay, from the original Jurassic Park, and it's like literally it is a polo shirt or whatever. It's a button-up shirt and shorts, but because they're those colors, people are like, I totally know who you are.
Yeah, I have a friend who got the logo, the like skeleton that's curled up, the Jurassic Park logo as a tattoo, like literally last year. She was like, I'm getting a Jurassic Park tattoo. I love Jurassic Park. I'm like, dude, yeah.
A group of my friends and I have joked before, like we should totally do a Jurassic Park group costume, because they were like, I want to be the little girl with the Jello stuff, and I was like, I'm calling dibs on the piece of amber. Out of that DNA molecule.
That's awesome. I cannot wait to see pictures of that.
Well, I mean, I have a wish list like a mile long, so who knows if this will actually happen, but if it does.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Amber.
I would be a pterodactyl for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure like people would buy the like also blow up T-Rex.
Yeah. I every time I say something like I love dinosaurs and then I mention a pterodactyl, I can hear my two best friends have 6-year-old daughters, and both of them will stop me mid-sentence and be like, a pterodactyl is not a dinosaur. And I'm like, okay, you are technically right. And like, you cannot out-science a 6-year-old. Like, they're just like, no, I got you on this. I know. It's a fact. Like, I think I said something about a plesiosaur the other day, and they were like, that's not a dinosaur, Noelle. I'm like, okay, but they lived during when I was a kid, they were a dinosaur. Can we just do that?
Well, I mean, we grew up when a brontosaurus was considered a dinosaur, and now it's like, well, that's not even real.
Yeah. And like, what is one of the triceratopses doesn't actually exist? Like, they were like, they found out that was just the juvenile form of a different dinosaur.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's very disappointing, actually. Okay, cool.
They're just chipping away at our childhood constantly.
Yeah. Please witness this is a solar system. That right there is Pluto. One of the 9. That's what I have to say about that. If you had to delete all but 3 apps on your smartphone, which ones would you keep?
Well, I have to keep email.
Okay, so let me stop before you do that. Anything that comes on your phone factory default, you get for free.
Okay. Well, I have to keep the authentication software that I use to log into stuff.
Okay.
Most other things I could probably they're just for fun, really, like Instagram. I mean, if I really actually things like Facebook, I could go check out on my computer, but there are some things on Instagram that don't actually work well.
Yes.
On the desktop. So I think I would have to keep Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else where it's like, oh, I would it would be slightly inconvenient. But there's nothing else really where I'm like, well, that totally sucks. I mean, maybe some photo editing stuff because I'm lazy, and this way I don't have to like put the picture onto my desktop to tweak it to then upload somewhere else. But I also don't do that much photo editing.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
All I really do is like if the picture is dark, I brighten it, in which a lot of
you could do that in Instagram.
Like I don't do like any heavy Photoshop or anything like that. So I'm going to open up my phone right now and see if there's something I'm forgetting.
Okay.
That I use, but I'm scrolling through and mostly it is
I think I would keep Google Maps because I hate Apple Maps. Apple Maps is like taking me down the wrong street like so many times, and that goes the wrong way. I'm like, stop it, Apple Maps.
I totally forgot that is not part of the phone. So yes, okay, Google Maps, authentication software, and Instagram. Just because that's my main that's a heavy communication thing I use to talk to people.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, it's my favorite question. What is your favorite section of the grocery store and why?
I guess anywhere where they're passing out free samples.
Ooh, good call.
I mean, for obvious reasons.
Are you a Costco on Saturday person?
So I haven't been to Costco in a very long time because, pandemic. But yeah, I love trying new stuff.
Yeah. Costco's great too because like on Saturday they have like all of the free samples available, and it's like you can just mingle around the loop 1 or 2 times and get yourself a nice snack lunch. It's great.
Have you ever been to Costco like close to Thanksgiving, and they basically have almost a Thanksgiving meal.
What?
No. I don't know if they all do this, because I've only seen this once, like, because also I'd rather avoid Costco during Thanksgiving. But one year I happened to be there, and all the samples they were giving were like a Thanksgiving meal. Like, there was one place that was giving out the slices of turkey with gravy. There was like stuffing, dressing, whatever. There was like cranberry sauce. And like, you literally, like, they had them all lined up. So you had a plate. Like, just ask for them. And so I ended up for like, because normally, you kind of get it sort of a lunchish thing. Like, it's mostly like random cheese and crackers and
that's awesome.
But like, you actually had like a lunch.
That's cool. So I was telling you earlier that and for anybody who doesn't know this about me, I'm an atheist, but I really like Easter as a holiday, and so we have a party called Ham Slam, which means we just really wanted to have an excuse to have ham. So we have ham on Easter Sunday because that's what you're supposed to do. But when I go to Honey Baked to get my ham, they give you, when you walk in, a plate of everything that they sell, essentially, that you can, because you order your ham ahead of time, but they have like a million sides there, and they are all amazing. And so they give you this plate and a fork, and while you wait in your Disneyland like line to get your ham, you can have a plate of all the stuff that they want to sell. And I'm like, this is the best idea ever. It's like the Isle of Doom at Sephora, but better.
Okay. I might have to look into that, because I've never bought a ham from there. Like, we just get one from our local place, like our local grocery store.
Yeah. Honey baked hams are so good. They also have like, I've gotten Christmas dinners there before too, where you get like a ham and a turkey and a something. So they have more than just hams, but they have baked beans and like cheesy potatoes with ham chunks in the cheesy potatoes. Like, yes, they have like all kinds of stuff. It's great. And they have like all the little different sauces and the cranberry sauce. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, I gotta check that out.
Yeah,
well,
you should at least go and like get in the line and get the plate.
You have to reserve the ham like in advance. Do they sell out?
So they like it if you reserve it. Like, that's very helpful to them, but you can absolutely just show up and ask for a ham. Like, if you got there the day before Easter, they might sell out, but probably not. Like, I usually go on like Thursday or Friday to pick mine up. And the place is packed, and also, it's fine because you're going to have the little meal, which is fun. Yeah. So I do get mine in advance. Like, I order it. You just call up and say, hi, I want a 9-pounder or whatever. And they're like, okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Have you ever had a supernatural event? Seen a ghost? Anything like that?
So when I was a kid, I think people would call this night terrors now. And I probably, so depending on your perspective, they are either night terrors, or if you want to believe in the supernatural, it was something supernatural happening. But as a kid, I would have these recurring issues where, like, I would suddenly wake up and not be able to breathe, like someone was sitting on my chest, and I would see like this old man, like, like an old ghost man.
Wow.
Yeah. But so some people will see that as like, dude, you were totally haunted by this old dude. And other people would be like, okay, you were a kid with respiratory issues, and then you panicked and your brain made up this image.
I'm going with the ghost. Yeah, that's my answer. Like, I think it's a ghost for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you recognize this dude?
Oh, no.
Did he do anything?
No.
He just sat there and looked at you while you couldn't breathe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm not fully convinced that was like a supernatural.
I'm going to opt to believe that it is because it's more fun.
I mean, if I had to describe him now, I would say like, like there was a Stephen King miniseries about, I think it was called like Storm of the Century or something like that.
Yeah.
about this town in Maine.
Every Stephen King story is in Maine, yeah.
But like there was one like sort of devilish character who actually, for the most of the miniseries, presented himself as a middle-aged looking dude. But at the end, you saw his true form was like an old man with like short, kind of slightly wild hair, like with the wind blowing, whatever. I would say that is probably the closest.
Wow.
Say to describing the person.
Wow. I have a fun Stephen King story. So my husband is from Maine. So we went to Mango, where Stephen King's house was. I don't think he lives there anymore, but we went to where his house was because he lived, I guess, in this mansion, like a Victorian mansion, like hardcore. There's one of those portico things that you can drive your car under, and the butler comes out and like then takes your car to the car house, whatever level of thing. And it was up on this like little hill, and then way down the hill there was like a giant fence with gates and like vampire bats or something on the gates. Like it was definitely super Stephen King-y. But next door there was another Victorian house that was for sale. And so Chris and I were like, what's that house? And so we went over there and looked at, like we didn't go inside, but we looked at like the listing thing. Yeah. It was insane. It was like 20,000 or 25,000 square feet. It was like, you know, multiple bedrooms, Victorian things, carriage garage situation with the portico, like the whole nine. This is basically the same thing, but just slightly different house. $425,000. Dang. I was like, I'm pretty sure I could put that on my credit cards. Like,
yeah, like every so often people will share things on Facebook of like some, you know, turn of the century mansion that's always in like the middle of nowhere.
Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah. And then all these like West Coast or East Coast people will be like, you know, that they'll buy me a fixer-upper here.
Yeah.
In that house, you know.
I was just like, Chris is like, we could totally move here. And I'm like, I don't tolerate snow or humidity. So Maine is right out. Like, no.
Yeah.
So, well, also, all my friends are on the other side of the country.
Yeah, we pay a premium to live here because of the people we're friends with, because our families, and also because of all the restaurants.
Yes, 100%. Like, we went for Chinese food in Maine. Definitely not moving to Maine, despite my husband thinking maybe, and I'm like, no, that's not happening. You cannot take this girl out of California. All right, the next one has a bunch of qualifiers. If you have seen the 20 questions with other people, you will know what they are, but I will repeat them for everyone's purposes. The zombie apocalypse is coming. What 3 items do you grab? Your children, your husband, your dog, your cat are not items. It should be something that you have in your house right now. Nobody watching, including me, knows what you have in your house right now. So that's a little added. But it should be something that like exists in nature. What 3 items do you grab?
Do I assume my family members have all been able to grab their own stuff, or have to worry about all their stuff too?
I would assume that they can grab their own stuff.
Okay.
And like kits count as 1 item.
What counts as 1 item?
Like a kit.
Oh.
Like a medical kit or...
Okay, then that's kind of cheating, because I have like safety kits that like have a bunch of stuff.
I still think that's okay. Like I actually have a zombie survival kit that my friend dropped off at my house, and it is a 20-gallon bin. And that is one of my items. So yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, well, because like, you know, I have, you know, first aid kit. I have like, because especially in California, because of the fires, because of the earthquakes, you know, and I also have like a big bin of like freeze-dried food stuff. So I would probably be taking all of those things. Now, if you wanted to be more strict about it, to be like items, just for the sake of argument, to simplify things, like if you could only pick 3 items, I think I would have to distill it down to fire, water, and a weapon. So like something that makes fire, like a lighter or flint or something like that.
Okay.
some kind of water, like a water bottle with like built-in purifier, and then a weapon that doesn't require any kind of like say if you run out of ammo, then you're screwed. So it would have to be something like a sword, because then you could behead the zombies.
Okay. Yeah. What are your 3 kits?
So the food bin, the water, all the water jugs and stuff, and then like the medical kit.
Okay. Yeah.
Which also includes like, flashlight and all that.
Yeah, mine does too. It has like the hand crank radio. It has like blankets. My zombie kit has like astronaut food in it, basically like camping food. So I think it has astronaut ice cream in it because she thought that would be funny.
Yeah, it's actually not that good.
Yeah, I agree. I had it at
novelty.
Yeah. It is texturally satisfying.
If you don't think of it as ice cream.
Yeah, yeah. But like I also find things like rice cakes really texturally satisfying because you get like a little squish and then you hit a hard thing and then you have to push through that and you get like a little snap crunch.
Like, so you enjoy chewing on styrofoam?
Yeah, probably. I don't actually know, but yes, when I was a kid, I used to enjoy eating erasers, like not swallowing them, but I would chew them because they're very texturally like that, where they're squishy and then you hit a hard thing and then they snap.
Okay, now it all makes sense.
Yeah, I'm a texture eater, so I would say like, I mean, I'm totally into good flavor. Like I like good flavor and I want good flavor out of everything, but I would say 70% of my decision to eat something is based on the texture of the food. It's why I don't like boba tea, because I don't want anything the texture of snot in my mouth. Like,
I don't like boba because I'm terrified I will choke on the little balls.
That too.
Like, I'll inhale one and then like that, and I also don't like tapioca.
Yeah, I don't either, because tapioca is a weird texture to me, so I don't eat it. Like, no. If you could meet any historical figure and ask them only one question, who would it be and what would you ask?
Jack the Ripper, who are you?
Whoa! Oh my God, that's so good. And you came up with it so fast.
I may have considered this before. Like, yeah. Well, people are like, if you could meet a famous person, who would be it? I'm like, I don't care about any current celebrities, really.
Yeah.
So I would rather get a question answered.
Yeah. Same. Wow. That's so good. I have like an obsession with Jack the Ripper too. Like I've been on the Jack the Ripper bus tour in London, like the whole 9.
I don't have an obsession with him. I just feel like this is a mystery that many people are very curious about. And like a lot of people would love to know the answer.
Yeah.
Plus also there would be not so much like some of the crazy theories.
Yeah.
Going around.
Like the prince.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, that seems like a lot of effort for him.
Yeah. Plus I feel like it's been so long at this point, like it's really hard to actually prove it one way or the other. Like I remember a couple of years ago, there was actually a journal article, like a scientific paper that came out where someone tested the bloody shell that one of the victims had and tried to make some kind of conclusion about it. And I remember thinking like, okay, but it has been like, this was before anyone knew about DNA. Everybody and their mother picked the thing up at the scene and passed it around. Some like detective actually took it home and kept it for years and like passed it on to another family member. Like so many people have touched it. Like even if you did match the DNA to somebody's descendant, like you can't prove anything.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I can't believe they even have that though still. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, like I can't imagine now like someone picking up something at the crime scene as a souvenir and be like, I'm just gonna take this home to my mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, when I was little, my mom took me to, I wasn't even little, I was probably like 14. My mom took me to England and we went all over England, and in all the cities she's like, okay, you get to pick one thing you want to do, and I was like, we're taking ghost tours. And so we went on the Jack the Ripper tour, we went on like the haunted Edinburgh tour, like we went on all of the haunted tours throughout all of like basically the UK. It was really fun. Man, I would like to know that. Someone else said, who was Elise of Fur Elise?
Oh.
Like, who is that? Because there's no nothing about that.
I never assumed it was a person. I just thought like, I need a title.
I assumed it was a person, but I was like, who is she and what? Like, I mean, that's a really famous piece of music. So like,
yeah, I think those are pretty good questions too, but
yeah.
I would still go with Jack the Ripper.
No, I think Jack the Ripper is the winner. Like 100%. I think that's the best answer I've had yet. Last question of the normal questions. If there was a room filled with everything you've ever lost, what item would you be most excited to recover?
How about my 20-year-old joints and bone density?
Oh, hey. Okay, when you started out with my 20-year-old joints, that's not what I was thinking you meant. And I was like, I think we need to talk after this. There are things about you I didn't know. But yeah, I would like those back also. I would like my ability to recover from lack of sleep and too much alcohol also. Super controversial bonus question from a scientist's perspective. Is a hot dog a sandwich and why?
So I actually don't really care too much. Like, if someone asked me to imagine a sandwich, that's not the first thing that would come to mind. Like, I would imagine
Sure.
like
This is a taxonomy question.
sliced bread with, layers of things. So, but if someone wanted to argue that a hot dog was a sandwich because it was meat encased in like bread, I wouldn't care. If someone decided to call it a taco, I'm like, okay, that's a little weird, but sure. If someone decided to call it a half-assed pita, I'd say, you do you.
Okay, I'm hard no on the taco thing. I find that offensive. The pita thing I had not considered yet. I also think that that's not true, but not nearly as offensive as the taco thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't call them a taco or a pita, but
Yeah.
it's also something where I'm not going to get into an argument with someone. It's not something I feel so strongly about.
I think a pita is a specific kind of bread.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, also someone might go, well, it's a pocket enclosing a filling.
If you asked me if it was a hot pocket, I would be like, maybe.
Yeah. But also, I had a 7th grade teacher that pointed out that said pretty much everything is a ravioli. If you're
Yeah.
talking about like a dough and a filling.
So I've heard that, but a different way. Everything is a calzone.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining me today, Vivien. I will leave a list of her accounts down below so you can go check her out and show her some love. And if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and give me a comment down below and let me know what you guys are up to and what you enjoyed about this video. Bye, guys.
Thanks for having me.